Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really digging into ashwagandha.
Withania somnifera.
Exactly, that 3,000-year-old Ayurvedic herb, also called Indian ginseng sometimes.
That's right.
And our mission today is, well, pretty straightforward. Cut through the noise and extract the solid, evidence-based facts. We'll look at how it's classified now, its main clinical uses, and really importantly, the safety side of things.
Okay. Well, ashwagandha is probably one of the best studied examples of what we call an adaptogen.
And that classification adaptogen, that's pretty specific, isn't it?
It is. It means it's a substance backed by evidence that helps your body, regulate how it responds to stress. It boosts resilience, helps maintain that internal balance, homeostasis.
No, homeostasis, right, even when you're under chronic stress.
Exactly. Whether it's physical or psychological stress.
Okay, so if that's the goal, how does it actually work? People always mention the HPA axis.
They do. That's the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. It's sort of the command center for the stress response.
So are we saying ashwagandha kind of helps recalibrate that axis, helps the body maybe redefine what normal stress levels are by balancing out serum cortisol?
In essence, yes. Cortisol is the main biomarker we look at for chronic stress. And ashwagandha's effect here comes down to its core bioactive molecules.
Which are the withanolides.
Precisely. Withanolides, they're steroidal lactones. And this is really why standardized extracts are so important, like KSM-66.
Yeah, I've seen that one mentioned a lot, standardized to 5% withanolides, typically.
Usually, yes. Using a standardized extract gives you a consistent dose of those active compounds. It's much more reliable than just raw root powder.
Avoid some issues.
Right. Raw powder has a lot of fiber, starch, things that can cause significant GI side effects, especially at higher doses. Standardized extracts minimize that.
Okay, makes sense. So let's pivot to efficacy. Where does the clinical evidence really stack up?
Two main areas show the strongest support.
Let me guess. Number one is stress and anxiety.
You got it. Study after study shows consistent reductions in anxiety symptoms, and that links directly back to bringing those cortisol levels into better balance.
Okay. And the second strong area?
Sleep quality. There's good evidence for significant improvement in sleep. But there's a key detail here you need to know.
Dosage. Duration.
Both. For the really noticeable benefits, especially in sleep architecture, the studies point towards needing 600 milligrams daily, and not just for a week or two.
How long are we talking?
8 weeks or longer. That seems to be the time frame for the maximum effect on sleep. It requires a bit of commitment.
Right, 600 milligrams for 8+ weeks.
Got it.
Now, you mentioned this hormonal link. Cortisol down. Is there more to it? It feels like there's a bigger shift happening.
There absolutely is. It's not just hitting the brakes on cortisol. Ashwagandha seems to help initiate a broader shift in the body's hormonal environment.
How so?
Well, by lowering cortisol, which is a catabolic hormone, meaning it promotes breakdown, it helps the body move away from that stressed breakdown state.
Towards something more restorative, like an anabolic building up state.
Exactly, a restorative anabolic state. And we see evidence for this.
How? What markers change?
We see simultaneous increases in certain anabolic hormones, specifically DHEAS, which is a key precursor hormone often depleted by chronic stress.
Okay, DHEAS goes up. Anything else?
And particularly in men, we often see an increase in testosterone. This whole recalibration helps support things like muscle mass, recovery, things that often suffer under high stress.
Interesting. So less breakdown, more building up.
Yeah.
But that commitment you mentioned, 600 milligrams for months potentially, that naturally leads us to safety, especially long term. How well is it tolerated generally?
Generally, it's considered well tolerated, especially the standardized extracts. But yeah, there are definite red flags and things to be aware of.
We mentioned the GI distress, mostly with the raw powder. What are the more serious concerns?
The big one, though rare, is hepatotoxicity, liver problems. It's serious enough that if you have any pre-existing liver condition, you really must avoid ashwagandha completely.
Okay, liver disease is an absolute contraindication. What about just using it for a very long time, like year after year?
That's where the data gets thin. We have good safety data for continuous use up to about 3 months. Beyond that, the risk isn't necessarily high, it's just unquantified. We don't have robust long-term studies.
So what's the clinical recommendation then?
To mitigate that uncertainty, cycling protocols are often suggested, something like maybe 3 months on, 1 month off, especially if someone plans to use it for the long haul.
Right, cycling. Okay, let's talk interactions. These seem critical and often require talking to a doctor.
Absolutely. First one, thyroid. Ashwagandha can actually increase your body's own production of thyroid hormones.
So if you're already on thyroid hormone medication.
You risk pushing yourself into hyperthyroidism. Definitely need to consult your doctor there.
Okay, what else?
Sedation. It can enhance the effects of CNS depressants, things like alcohol, certain medications.
That's energy.
Yes. Because of the potential sedative effect and maybe effects on blood pressure or blood sugar, it needs to be stopped 2 weeks prior to any scheduled surgery. Very important.
2 weeks? Check. Any other major groups who should avoid it?
Yes. People with autoimmune diseases, things like multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus.
Why is that?
Because ashwagandha acts as an immunomodulator, it can actually increase immune activity, which could potentially worsen autoimmune conditions. So avoidance is generally mandatory there.
Okay, so summarizing the practical side, daily use.
Typical daily doses range from about 250 milligrams, maybe for milder stress, up to that 600 milligram level we talked about for more significant effects on sleep or performance goals.
And preparation, you mentioned the withanolides.
Right. They're fat soluble, so theoretically, taking it with some fat might enhance absorption. Some people mix the powder, if they use powder, into things like golden milk, which often contains coconut oil or another fat.
Interesting little biohack there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap up with a final thought for our listeners. Something provocative.
How about this? Botanically, ashwagandha is a nightshade.
Like tomatoes, potatoes, peppers.
Exactly. Same family. And you know how nightshades are often restricted in certain diets, like, say, Dr. Gundry's lectin protocol because of potential inflammatory concerns?
Right.
Yet these standardized root extracts of ashwagandha are often well tolerated, even sometimes accepted within those same dietary frameworks.
So why would the preparation method, the extraction, focusing on the root, standardizing it, seem to matter more for tolerance than its basic botanical family classification?
That's the question. It really highlights the nuanced relationship between how we prepare a plant and the clinical outcome we get. Something definitely worth exploring further.